As I say, we're going to go through the new features, and let's start straightforward. The first thing is we're going to talk about the new things inside InfinitySet, and the first thing is we have a new kind of crosspoint that is called the mixer crosspoint. With all the features, we will do the same sequence of things. We will see a video explaining the feature, and I will talk over the video explaining what the video is saying. We will do a little recap from the technical point of view, and then we will see from the commercial point of view the specific interests appearing in that element. Okay, let's start with the mixer crosspoint. Okay, we have a new kind of crosspoint that is called the mixer crosspoint, and here you can see that we have two new crosspoints. That is crosspoint number 7 and crosspoint number 8, and both of them are of type mixer. So in inputs, we have from input number 13 to input number 17, different first 3 movies, and then a couple images, still images, and we are putting these movies live, so there is some movement there. So, okay. And we go back to the crosspoint, and you see in the crosspoint, the first thing is the configuration. We can configure the ME of this bus configuration. What do we have in number 1, in number 2, in number 3 when we press in the mixer? Okay, and we are selecting these 5 crosspoints, 5 inputs that we have there. And we are doing the same for mixer, the second mixer. And now you can see there we have the bus preview and the program, and we can select the inputs that we have prepared in there. So what happens when I click? The preview of this mixer is changing accordingly to what I press. And if I do a take or a cut, this is changing. Okay, in the side, in the left, you can see that I have a display out for this crosspoint, and I have a display out also for the preview. This allows me to see a preview and a program in the left of what this mixer is doing. Okay, and as you can see, pressing cut and take, I can go from one to the other, and I can have as many mixers as I want. So in here, I am using crosspoint 7 and 8 to have different mixers. In number 8 now I'm changing, and this is totally independent from the first one. Okay? So I am changing now with take, and whatever was in the program bus is going to the preview, and whatever was in the preview is fading slowly to the program. So how do we use this? How can we use this? There is 2 main things. First, as an output, I have the output of the system, and I can feed an external screen easily with this. So I have a display out of my mixer, and I can feed the output that is a screen with this. And the second thing is I can feed internal screens of the virtual set with a mixer. So with my mixer, I can control which are the sources that are going to this screen and do a proper mixing, not only a stack with something on top, but mixing from A to B to C or back to whatever. So how do we do that? Here in the inputs, I have 2 crosspoints inputs. An input can be the output of a crosspoint. It's a little bit strange, but yeah. So I have this crosspoint, the input 23 and 24 are the output of the mixers, and I can directly drag and drop what I want to the screen. So now this left screen is controlled with mixer number 1, and the right screen is controlled by the mixer number 2. So if I go to my mixer, and and for going to the mixer without switching to the mixer, I need to press Control click in there. So I am viewing number 1 and edit 8. Okay. now when I press whatever thing in the mixer, I have something in preview, and when I take or cut, I am going directly to this. So, and this is happening in the screen just here.
Múltiples hardware conectados.
Okay, so this is the feature. Let's do a little recap on this. What we have seen is that we have a new kind of mixer. It is called the mixer crosspoint, and it has capabilities of preview, program. I can do mix and cuts, but I also have keys and DSKs. This is something we haven't seen in the video. And they have mainly two utilities. Either have several mixers for display outs, for screens outside in the real world, or as mixer for internal screens. So now it's for you, David, to talk about the commercial benefits. Okay, let's go to the next feature. Let's talk about the stack crosspoint. This is not new, but it has been enhanced. So again, first the video, and then...
Lo que tengo es básicamente una estructura donde, semejante a la que tenemos en Photoshop, donde tú vas a crear una serie de capas, que llamamos layers.
I have here.
En Photoshop,
can you lower the volume, Jose, please? Okay, thank you. So here we have, like in Photoshop, the stack crosspoint already existed, where you put different layers. These are elements that you put that are one on top of the other. Here we will put first this background that is coming from input number something, is a playlist. And in here, we will put several elements. So first this input, this is a movie or a playlist, just put it in play. Okay, and I have several inputs that I can put on top of this in my crosspoint. Okay. Okay, this is coming from playlist number 1. I put it in play, and now I am going to put something on top. Okay. So what is this? Where is this input coming from? I have to select from my input. Well, I have several inputs, and I will choose input number 2. That's another playlist. And by default, you see that this is becoming anamorphic. It is a stretch in all the directions. Okay, we have different ways to adapt this, but this is the default one. By default, this is stretch. Okay, so we have another ones like letterbox. Okay, or crop. If we go to crop, this is cropping. The smallest part is filling the whole screen, and the rest is cropped. Or letterbox, that we will add some transparent bands in the sides. Okay, what is new in here? That we have all the Photoshop modes now for blending. This is first, that we have a custom size for everything that is coming in, and also for the output of this stack layer. That means that we can do strange configuration or video walls that are not video proportions, that don't use video proportions. Okay, and the other thing is that we have a pre-multiply alpha, that this wasn't available in the previous version. So when we have an image like this one that has pre-multiplied alpha, we can directly use it without it. Okay, but let's go and recap what is available there. I think there is somebody that is mute with a lot of noise. Okay, thank you. Okay, just to recap, we have several capabilities that are new, that are the blending modes and the custom resolution, the pre-multiplied alpha. And what is the utility of this? To create stacked composition. In this composition, we can have multiple Aston projects inside, and to drive video walls with non-standard pixel resolutions. So again, let's have David or Borja. The next thing is a little bit more complex, and maybe your head is beginning to spin. we will talk about the track cave crosspoint. This is the name from inside the software. Everybody in the industry is calling that XR. Okay, this is how we call it, and the name inside the software. But let's go to there is 3 different modes. Now in Brainstorm, this is the first one. This is the traditional one, and we move. What we have done is to move the capabilities of the cave that was something available, but inside each of the crosspoint, track AR, track VR, and we have created a new kind of crosspoint that is called a track cave. And by default, the typical mode is the track active. We are rendering different outputs, each one for each of the LED walls that are connected. So in this case, we have 3 crosspoints. So the ones here, and these are, let's say, the 3 projectors or the 3 LEDs or the 3 elements that we are outputting. We are rendering 3 times or 4 times if we see the other one, the scene. We are filling all the pixels on the screen, and here you can see the different views. So the crosspoint number 3 is the floor, the number 2 is the middle one, and the one is the top. Okay, so what are the different? Well, what are the main points of this configuration? Let's go and see it. No, we will see it at the end. So I will see the 3 different crosspoints type first, the videos, and then discuss the 3 configuration. So this is the second kind of track cave crosspoint. In here we have one more crosspoint. You see number 1. This is the only one making a render in Unreal. Okay, well, in this case in Unreal. And crosspoint number 2, 3, and 4 are the ones receiving this render and projecting the portion that is needed inside the first room they see. What is the first room? What the camera is seeing from the screen. So, and crosspoint number 7 here is a helper to see what we are doing. So we are in crosspoint number 7. When we click in each of the portions, we see what is projected in each of the screens. It seems similar to the previous one, but we are only doing 1 render. In the previous one, we were doing 1 render per each output. We do 1 render, and the result of this render, we put inside the output in the part of the projection that is seen. So in the floor, I see only this, so I put only this part. But if my cone of view of the camera is smaller, I will see black around. So not all the pixels are filled. And this has some problems that we have solved with different ways that we will see at the end. The third kind of crosspoint is the passive crosspoint. And again, we have only 1 render that is being done in our render engine or in the Unreal. And we are projecting this inside a surface that has any shape. So the shape of the video wall, we have this shape mapped, and we are giving that to the projector or to the element that is getting this and putting this in the LED wall. Okay? So in this case, for example, it is a very strange shape of the LED wall. We do the modeling of the LED wall outside, and we create the UV map for it also, and we import later this element inside InfinitySet to say, this is the element where I want the render to be projected. And it's generating the pixels for each of the UV maps and send this to the processor in the output. Okay. So let's recap now. Yes, the three kind of crosspoint. We have well, it's the track cave crosspoint, and it has 3 different ways of using it. The first one is the active. we do 1 render per output, and it fills 100% the output screens. All the pixels are generated. This is the most cost-intensive in several aspects. We are rendering every pixel, and we are rendering all the outputs. So if it's a render engine, typically we can do with only one machine. But if it's using Unreal, typically we need 1 render per LED wall. Okay. The second one is the active crosspoint, and we do only 1 render for several outputs. So we fill only the camera view. Whatever is outside of the camera view is by default black. We have several solutions to fix this. We can do an extra render that allow us to make fast movement without the black to get into. We have the background color, and we have the background clear that will leave pixels from previous passes. Okay, these are ways to fix this, to be better in reflections and how the light is affecting the person. And we have a third method that is a passive crosspoint, where we again do only 1 render for several outputs, but the render is used to be reprojected into a 3D object and this image reprojected to the 3D object is what we are passing to the processor. And don't forget that we have the set extension inverted mask to do the outside of the LED wall. How do we work in version 5 with the combined render engine, so with external engines? Let's see first, this is the new Unreal AR workflow. In this version, we do have the workflow where we can render elements from Unreal and have them in an AR environment. And with what kind of features? With shadows, as you can see there on the floor, with reflections. Here we will have the reflection. Let's wait a little bit. But
character casting geometrically correct shadows on the floor, as well as
you can see the shadow first is on the floor and also on the wall. The next thing is the reflection. The reflection is coming in this cube. So the background is reflected there. Not only the background, but also the 3D elements that appear in there.
You can also see shadows and reflections between Unreal objects.
And the last element we can also have with this workflow is the refractions. We will see coming soon.
With refractions to be integrated with the camera.
We see the refractions through particles made inside Unreal.
Caused by the
this workflow is new, and to create this workflow, we do this.
An InfinitySet AR.
Inside Unreal, we have new elements to make the composition. So when you create the scene in Unreal, you need to use the Brainstorm elements that appear when you are using Unreal through Brainstorm. And here you can see that you have the compositor is telling you from which texture you're choosing the background. So using the texture number 1 that we are sending, and with the compositor mesh, this is the next element that we are picking up now. Okay, this one we select where the shadows are going to be projected and where the video has to be then.
Be scaled and located.
Okay. So using these 2 elements, you can do directly all these reflections, shadows, and refractions.
Several VR compositor elements can be added for situations.
Okay. The next feature is the new UECTL control. This is the way we can do and we can control the elements of the Unreal from this version. Okay. In this version, we have a pretty new way to control. In the previous one, it was only through blueprints or by knowing the name. In here, there's 2 very powerful things. Like the first is the picking. So here, just picking on Brainstorm I am picking an actor from Unreal, and from the user interface directly, this is appearing, and I have control over the position, over the visibility. Here, if I convert this, for example, here.
My set as maybe here, I can ease, for example,
as show or hide, you will see that with the toggle now, I can make disappear this object. And I don't need to go at all to the Unreal interface. Directly with picking in the Brainstorm interface, I am able to do that. Let's move, for example, to see how we can edit the transformation. In here, for example, it is also just select, we have the manipulator, and we can move either through the manipulator or through the numbers in the Brainstorm editor, the position of something. So picking is very powerful, very handy, and very easy to move the elements. In the previous versions, you had to go to the Unreal editor, so close, open the editor, move or make it invisible, the elements, or have a blueprint. There is another possibility also now in the UECTL, is there's an intelligent search, and we can browse the whole Unreal Engine tree of objects and properties. So here I am saying, I want to see all the actors in Unreal, and I choose the camera 2. I want to see all the properties of this camera element, well, camera 2, and in the properties, these are all the engine of the actor, all the properties. Again, similar to our own render engine, there is thousands of properties. So we implemented this intelligent search also to be able to write a portion of what you're looking for, to how to hide, and there you can see that I select the hidden, and I have the toggle, and I will make it appear or disappear this camera. Okay. So to recap again, we are working with the version 4.27 vanilla. That means this is the version directly available in the web page. We are not using a specific modified version. The only things we add to Unreal, they are added through a plugin that is connected through when we launch Unreal from InfinitySet. Second thing, we have added a new workflow that was not available, is the AR workflow. And it allows us for a pixel and color accurate reflection, refraction, and distortion. Okay. And the next thing is we have enhanced the UECTL, the Unreal Control, with very, very handy tools to make picking and to make the search of the actors directly in the tree of the editors. Okay, let's go to the commercial talk about this. Okay, there is a new internal chroma keyer in version 5. We have improved this chroma keyer. Let's see the video first. So here you will see we have 4 cross points. Each of them is using one of the keyers we have. We have an RGB keyer, an HSV keyer, and Unreal Engine keyer, and the RGB can be also differential. So each of them is showing one of these keyers. First thing is, well, we are adding the body tracking, and this one is using RGB. Okay, all the keyers, RGB, HSV, and UE are new. We have changed the way they work to be much more accurate, and all of them can work now either with fully saturated color or against a picked color. Okay, this is new in this version. Also, here you can see that in each of the chroma keyers, we have added presets to have a default, relax, or aggressive. And just by double click, you can move from one to the other, having a default parameters where you can start. This is, everybody was saying that it's difficult to use. And well, with the presets, you can see it's quite easy. So here you can, in this one, this is the HSV, well, or RGB. We are changing to the default or aggressive. And you can see it changing the borders or the sides of the chroma key. Okay. The third kind of chroma key, well, there's also another feature new. We have a chroma viewer allowing us now, without the need of the main screen, to do the perfect chroma keying. So we have all the options available there and visibility about what is happening. Okay. In this one here, we are showing the Unreal chroma keyer. What is this? We have, some people is more able to control the Unreal internal chroma keyer. And well, so we have put exactly the same editors of the Unreal chroma keyer in here. So with the same capabilities, and just to check if somebody wants to or prefers to use the internal Unreal chroma keyer, we do have exactly the same parameters and the same capabilities inside Brainstorm for this chroma keyer. Okay, and the last but very important feature is that RGB or HSV, both, they can be either color or reference image. What means this? That means that we can capture an image, and instead of doing a chroma key against a unique green, we do a chroma key against each pixels of the screen. So the pixel, the top left pixel will compare with the top left pixel of the image that I have captured. So here I did the capture, and now when it enters, you can see that this chroma key allows for much better chroma key, and the most important thing, for the shadows, because we can distinguish in each pixel the difference. We can have much better shadows in here. Okay. So again, to recap, we have three enhanced chroma keys. One of them is new, the UE. We have a color and differential mode. The differential is against the green that has been captured. And this is through the image learning. And we have new presets, and we have a new enhanced viewer to make the chroma key. Okay, let's go to the commercial talk about this. So some other improvements inside InfinitySet. These are minor improvements. We have things like the actor chase. So when we are in a track free, we know the position of the actor, and we can have a camera moving accordingly to follow the person. So this is the actor chase. We have the starlight virtual lights. Also, we can create easily lights for an actor just with an effect. We have the color filter for the actor, making very seamless transitions when you are using track AR with movies. Okay, so these are new features. We have also the control for new kind of robotic heads. We have the robotic device manager. This is a device, well, a software able to receive commands from the robotic heads controllers and control the head and the virtual set at the same time. We can have presets in InfinitySet that are absolute or relative, as always, but also where we are recording the robotic position, and when we press click, the robotic is moving to that position also. And we do support now two more controllers, the Panasonic RP150 and the Sony RPM. So from the commercial point of view, these are the new things to say. And here we are going to the Aston new capabilities. Okay, first we have, from the commercial point of view, something very interesting, very new. We have an Aston multi-channel. Let's see first how this works.
Hola, este es un vídeo para enseñaros el nuevo Aston multicanal.
Here you can see that we have the interface looks like the one of Infinity, not Aston any longer. You can see that we have the cross points, but there is only cross points that can be Aston and stack and mixer. So what this for? So we can have several Astons loaded, and we can have several outputs attached with these cross points, and we can have another like this one that is a stack with two Astons all together, one side by side. Okay? So this is what we call the multi-channel, Aston multi-channel product, allowing to load several Astons. And here you can see we have the three outputs. One, well, here we see them as display out, but the Aston 1, the Aston 2, and the stack that has combined the Aston 1 and the Aston 2. And we can control them through external device like on-demand. And here, let's go a little bit outside of the view. And here you can see that in the on-demand, we have several elements to drive them. And we will go to the configuration. And in the configuration, and in the configuration, I can say what is going. So I can do, here I have channel 2 channels, and I can say what is channel 2, what is channel 1, and if they are active or they are not active. Okay. And configuring this, now I can trigger elements, I can trigger videos or Aston things to go to one place or to another. So now if I press play in this is going to channel 1, F1 and F2 are going to channel 1. Now I press something new that I wanted in channel 2, sample, and when I press this one, this is going to channel 2. And in the stack, you can see they are both combined all together. Okay. So to recap, we have a new product. This is a product in the price list also that is called Aston Multi-Channel. There is different licenses. There's a full edit playout, and we have 2, 4, and 8 channels. And this can be controlled externally from on-demand and also from third-party applications like Dalet through an API. Okay, let's go to the other improvements in Aston. And let's see this through the video. Okay. We have several improvements. The first one is the highlight. This was a request from a customer. They wanted to have a background highlight of each of the different elements. So in here you can see when typing. So without anything, this is happening without a background. And if we type with markers, some specific markers, we can create things with a background. So here is hello, and with a bluish, greenish background. Okay, this is the first feature, and as I said, this was a request from a customer. This was available somehow with scripting beforehand, but now is very straightforward, and it's part of the text capabilities that are already pretty complete. The next thing is when creating an animation, there can be a lot of things happening in a timeline. This is a typical Aston timeline to make an animation with a lot of things happening. So in prior versions, to make a reverse of this animation, it was quite difficult. We had to create the animation putting the elements in the reverse order. From this version, instead of just doing this, there's a button, you press, and it goes full reverse, and the animation can be played directly. So if you have an in animation that is very complex, you can create an out animation that is just drag and drop of the play reverse button, as we're doing here. And now you have the out already control, and you can play the out and in and out directly very, very easily. Okay. The next feature we want to show is that, let's go here. You can see if I create a control folder and I want this to be editable with sliders, I have the new capability available now, and I can say any editor can be editable through sliders like those to change the color or to change anything. Okay. The next feature that we are talking about is when we create an animation, a very simple animation, just something appearing. This is the default curve. And now we have a presets, a lot of presets, very easy to use, where you can say, I want a bounce, and very easily you just convert. Prior to that, you had to go to the curve, edit the curve, and look for the presets inside the curve. Now everything is doable directly from the production timeline. Very easy. And well, that was our demand also from the operators. And another feature we are going to show is some people wanted to have data. Well, these presets are also now in the fonts. Some people wanted to have JSON data available. Well, this is also available now. The internet world is making very popular this JSON format, and it's available as source data also now. So you can attach things. And also there is this new fancy icons in all the library elements, as well as that the objects library is available in the bottom part, not only in the toolbar in the side. Okay, and these are the main new features. Just to recap, all these improvements, we have the text highlights, the reverse animation, the sliders form, curve presets for the animations and the 3D text. We have the snaps. I didn't show that in the toolbar. We have a button to make a snap, very quick, very easy, and the JSON data source. So an overall improvements in the suite. There is a list here. It is not an extensive list, just to show a few of the things. We have the actions now that can go forward or reverse. We have the accurate seek. In every movie, you can go with the scrubbing selector and go to the frame you want, frame by frame. This is accurate, perfect. In the previous version, we didn't have this feature. When you play, you could go perfectly forward, but you cannot do accurate scrubbing. We have the project template version, and we're showing the project version in the first screen. We have the input catch in Aston. We have the direct show input devices, so we can use also webcams internally. We have the track override fields. NDI support has been enhanced. We do support HX. We have the identification pop-up, and we solve a lot of memory leaks. Just for you to have an idea of what this version has taken, more than 4 months of QA and more than 518 fixes found in the software before making this release. I think we expect this to be one of the most solid releases that Brainstorm has ever done. So just as a last point, there is a new extensive guide that is available in marketing at, in this webpage, marketing.brainstorm3d.com. It has a lot of effort there from the marketing people to create a comprehensive guide of what is available in this new version, not just the new features that we have gone through during this presentation, but also the unique selling points available in our